Afternoon, yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are we?
Good to see you all. Thank you very much. Usual drill from us. We'll start with Eleanor from Sky, on to Andy from TLP to follow us straight afterwards. Anything else under immediate embargo? We'll start with Phil. Can go at that point. We'll have an embargo session 10:30 p.m. tonight for the newspapers tomorrow. Cameras can keep running through that as long as that embargo is noted. I'll flag it when it happens in real time. Cameras happy? We can go with Eleanor and Andy.
Hi. Perfect time just before the first question. Team news is that positive is that Christian Aagaard is involved in the squad tomorrow, so that's very positive. That was a short turnaround after the injury he got against Wolves in the first leg of the FA Cup game. Then it's a bit more positive in terms of injured players. So you know we've seen that for a while now. But Christopher, Jose Silva, been back with some suspension, been that. So that's positive. But we still have what was it? I was counting around 9 players out for the game. 5 injuries, 3. AFCON or Asia Cup and Sergio, who can't play the game against Tottenham. But we will put a competitive team out there and believe that we can win.
Thank you. I mean, what's the feeling amongst the club after your win after Forest, and you're really pleased with the 3 points?
Of course, it's important to win football matches. And when you haven't won in 5 and lost 5, it's always a little bit more important. So of course, obviously, it was a big win for us in many ways. Very happy with that. The performance, as I said, was good without being through the roof. But it was good enough to win a clear win against Nottingham. So satisfied with that.
And I guess, how do you use that? How do you build on that now heading to this big game tomorrow?
We need to keep performing, keep doing what we think is the right way to do things. You can say play with a bit more confidence. Of course, we're going to a massive club tomorrow in a fantastic stadium against a team that I think have been looking really good this season. We met them in the first game of the season. What I saw that game is the same they do now. You can say they maybe got a little bit more flow momentum into their game. So we know it's a tough challenge, but we're up for it and look forward to it.
In terms of transfers, we've been reporting at Sky that the deal with Antonio Nusa is up in the air. I just wonder if there's anything else that you're able to tell us about that.
I know we've been rumored to a lot of players. I think we counted before around 12. So we will do our very best to sign all 12 players and we'll be very busy the next 2 days of the transfer window. Now, you guys that know me, I don't speak about players that are not officially signed with us because, there's no reason to do that. What I would say is that I am, on a personal note, happy with the transfer window so far. We got the most important player in, and that was Sergio Reguilon, because we had a absolutely need in the left wing back position, and we got a top player in. Can't wait to see him fully flourish. And then we did the classic Brentford way, signing 2 very good, talented players in Yunus and Hákon, that I'm very, very pleased with. We will try to see if we can sign 1 more before the end of the window. Could be difficult, but we've been working on players that also could be possible in the summer. So we always do a job. I know sometimes it's a longer process. Sometimes we don't get them the first time, we'll get them the second time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Andy.
Thomas, you don't tend to get many breaks in the Premier League, but you have had a significant break since the Nottingham Forest win. How have you used that with your squad?
We, because of this winter break, there was a little bit. How can you say? Some clubs had it in the first 1 week and then a little bit later. So this break or whatever you call it from Nottingham to now, we've been training. Very few days off. Had an in-house game as well to keep hitting the load and the big areas and the exposure that we want. So yeah, been training hard and looking forward to the game.
Obviously, there's been lots of focus on Ivan Toney in the last fortnight, 3 weeks, even before that. But actually, do you feel maybe Neal Maupay has been ignored by a lot of us, perhaps, in the press in his efforts recently?
Yeah, potentially a little bit. I think it's natural that Ivan is the big story in many ways, but Neal deserve a lot of praise. Also said that after the Nottingham win, it's a fantastic goal. That's a really striker goal. He's scoring there in so many ways, and he's done well for us, I must say. What was it, 5 goals and 3 assists, something like that? 3 goals in the Premier League. I think all 3 assists in the Premier League. That's very impressive with the minutes. And we know some players can be fantastic some clubs and not fantastic in other clubs, and there can be various reasons to that. But I was very confident that when Neal came here, that he will be a success for us, and that he will do well. And I think he's done. And I think also he's getting slower and slower back to his high level.
What things do you admire about the way Ange Postecoglou sets up his Tottenham side? I suppose, leading on from that, what are the challenges specifically you face tomorrow?
I think Ange have done a good job in Tottenham in many ways. I like the offensive approach. I like the all or nothing approach as well. I think it's brave, and I think you need to be brave to create big things in many ways. So I think that looks good. No matter what style you have, no matter what you do, there's a lot of strength in what you do, and there's also some weaknesses. And of course, it's up to us to try to minimize the strength of Tottenham tomorrow, and that is a bit of their high pressure, a bit of their the way they try to dominate games, but also they try to go to breakthrough quite quick. So can we eliminate that or really keep it as a minimum? I think we'll have a good chance, and then of course it's up to us to try to explore some of the weaknesses. And we will come in there with an offensive approach as well. We know we are facing a fantastic team and club, but we know that when we are on it, we can go everywhere and win. We know Tottenham are favourites tomorrow, huge favourites, but we believe that we can do something, and that's the approach we need to come with and be brave.
Just last one from me. You mentioned it's actually been quite busy transfer window for Brentford, but actually when you look across the Premier League as a whole, it's been a much quieter January transfer window than we've seen in years gone by. Do you have any views on why that may be? Is that entirely down to financial regulations or something else?
I think the FFP is playing a role, no doubt. Of course, I think it's natural, and I think it's, if we want to have a relatively fair game, and I don't want it to be like the American sport. I think there's pluses in that and minuses, and there's pluses and minuses in the way we do it in Europe, or let's say in the Premier League. But I think it's good that is. No one can put loads of money into one club and then have this massive advantage. We know money talks in so many ways. The good news is not the only thing. You need to also have knowledge and culture and structure and strategy and a lot of other things. But if you do all that and then the money, it's very difficult to beat them. So I think the FFP definitely play a part. I also think a natural thing, the January transfer window is normally a more quiet one and more difficult one for clubs, more expensive one, and hopefully it's because the clubs have done their great work in the summer and don't need to buy anyone else. But maybe not.
Cool.
Thomas, just deal with the transfer window very quickly. Last time we spoke, I hate to give you the same question, but someone's guessing. Last time it was 99% certain that he'd be there come the beginning of February. Has that gone up?
It must be close to 99.99 maybe. I'll be very surprised if he's not with us after the 1st of Feb. Yeah.
And in regards to the work that you're doing, or maybe doing, or Phil's doing, as well behind the scenes, if there wasn't to be that extra player coming in, how happy would you be taking the group you've got into the rest of the season?
If there's not coming an extra in,
no one else.
Happy. I'm pleased with what we have. I think the most important one was the left back. That's the clear one where we lack a player. Of course, 2 of our best wingers are out, and that can influence the system. So we're not as flexible. I think that's clear for everyone. Right now, we basically only have 1 winger in Keane. We have some that can play to the side, but and then Wissa is coming back from AFCON after he hopefully is going all the way. Him or Frank, so it'll be beautiful. I think actually they can meet in the final, can't they? I'll have a problem then. It'll be very good to get them to the final, and it'll be a positive story for them and us. But anyway, Wissa will be back and can play to the side as well. So I think we have, when everyone is back from AFCON and Asia Cup, I believe we have a strong squad. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In regards to Spurs, you said obviously that you can see even in that first game what they were doing under Ange. Have you seen that though develop from that first game to where they are now, even though, like so many other clubs, he's had to contend with quite a lot of injuries?
Yeah. Yeah, of course there's been development, but I think the main structure and the main principles are the same. Clear the fullbacks very much inside, clear 6, clear 2, 8, 10 high, or swap with the fullbacks and the wingers high and the strike. So it's clear that he want to do that, and they also clear that they want to get down the sides and ball under. It's clear they want to press high. They got the most, I think, sprint pressing meters of in the Prem. And they are all in building up and play with risk, which I'm a big believer of. You need to take some sort of risk, because if you don't take risk, you also take risk. So in a way, I like what I see, and I think they've done well.
And James Maddison's back for them. He's been missing for a while. He did play in that first game of the season. How important for your analysis of what Spurs do is he to the way that they go about playing? Because filling the hole that he left seemed a little bit tough. Yeah,
no, he's a key player for them. I think also, I haven't read, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he will say that he's a key player for them if he hasn't already said it. I think they are a different team with and without Maddison. I think he's been a game changer for them this season. They have a lot of other good players, Spurs. So it's not that I can't replace him, but the dynamic in the team, they just change. He is the one that can do something out of nothing with a pass, shot, cross, action. So that's a key player they got back. Perfect timing for us, but we need to find a way to close them down.
And I know, obviously, Andy asked about it, there was a bit of a break actually after the Forest game. In one respect, would you prefer to play, having got that momentum booster of getting that win, actually more sooner after the Forest game?
Yeah, that would be good. I don't think it's crucial that we played a game, let's say 3 days later or a week later, because you still have the feeling in the body, we still have the feeling in the squad. So as a type, I think, okay, if it's 3 days, 3 days, 7 days, 7 days, 10 days, 10 days, okay, get on with it, deal with it.
finally for me, sorry, it's in London, but it is at a big stadium, as you say, against a team that, you talk about, now on the fringes of the Champions League qualification. What is it about your group that seems to relish taking on the Spurs or the Arsenal, or the Cities, that sort of coming as well?
Yeah, good question. I said it many times, and the good things that you guys can also see it from the outside. It's a fantastic group of players with a big togetherness, a big belief in what they're doing, and I think it's, of course, if you haven't beat any of the big ones, if you haven't performed good in any of the games against the big ones, and if it wasn't deserved when you beat them, then you probably wouldn't have the same belief. But we go into the game and believe and know that we can win. We also know that we can lose because we face a fantastic team with some fantastic players away from home. But a fantastic feeling to go into the game with. We know we'll suffer in spells, and we need to suffer massively. But we need to suffer together and get out of the short, or hopefully short spells, or longer spells where we need to suffer, and then get spells where we are threat the other way, or we keep the ball, or we press high. But I think, and I hope it'll be a fantastic game. Welcome.
Anyone else before we go on embargo? Sam?
I wanted to build on the Maddison stuff. You played incredibly well on debut against you, and I wondered, I mean, it's been quite a while, obviously, but have there been any lessons learned in terms of the way that you deal with him?
We know we like to run the game in many ways, and we know we need to do our best to close him down. That of course obviously is difficult, but we need to be very aware of what he's capable of doing, and we are. That's what we are. That's what we are prepared for.
And with the sort of Nusa deal, you're also linked with quite a few other wingers. Was that something you identified within the squad? Was there a specific thing that you saw where it made a deal for someone like Nusa a possibility?
In our squad, say?
Yeah, so did you look at your squad, because obviously you've been linked with quite a few wingers over the course of January. I wondered whether you'd looked at the squad and seen something that you thought a player like Nusa could bring into the squad.
I think in general we always look into the squad and look what do we need, how do we plan for the summer, what could happen, what do we need now. But obviously, as I said earlier, we got two of our best wingers, Kevin and Brian, out. And if you like to get a winger for the summer, then maybe an idea to look into that already now, if it was possible. So we've been linked to a lot of players. So let's see what will happen the next 2 days. And if not, then we hopefully done a good job going into the summer.
And with someone who actually has come into the club, Hákon Valdimarsson, I wondered what that meant for the current crop of goalkeepers you currently have with us in the team.
I think I think there's a very good goalkeeping group that are working very hard together. I expect him to have a smooth transition into that and into the club, and train well and improve. And I think for him, it's going to be 4 months of a lot of learning and an adaptation, and then hopefully he can hit the ground running in the summer. So I'm very pleased that we managed to sign him in competition with other clubs, also other Premier League clubs. So very pleased. I think it's a very good signing.
And that group is probably going to stay together, because I know Strakosha has spoken in the week about perhaps moving on. Do you see him staying at the club?
As far as I know, yeah.
And final question, sorry. I looked across your pictures and you tend to struggle with midweek games. And I was wondering whether you had any insight onto why that might be in terms of maybe preparation.
Good question. I didn't know that. So now I know we struggle, so now I will fear it. I don't know what to say, because I didn't think that we had an issue with that. I don't think we have. I hope we beat Tottenham tomorrow, and then that will be out of the window. No, we don't do anything differently. I don't think we have an issue.
No worries.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
Ed from Sports. given how tricky your February is, should we expect a lot of changes throughout the next few weeks or so?
Changes in the team or?
In the team, personnel, everything.
First and foremost, I focus on the game tomorrow, obviously, and we need to go out and perform and hopefully get 3 points. And after that, I look into the City game. I think the first part we have decent amount of days between, so I could pick the same team again. There should be nothing physically. Sometimes when I have 2 days between the games, you can look into it if there's been a tough run of games in terms of on the physical side. But right now, yeah, maybe I like to use a squad, different types to different games. But yeah, right now just focus on Tottenham.
Sure. Okay. And obviously Tottenham won it's their best ever scoring streak in the league. Is there a specific plan to try and stop this attack tomorrow, or is it the same old routine?
We have our principles, and that in terms of defending, and we will stick to them and hope we can execute that very well. Because as you said, I'm very aware of the attacking threat that Tottenham have. So yeah, basically we need to play a very good game overall, but we need to play a fantastic defensive game to give us the maximum chances of winning the game.